All right, let's talk about one of the most important inventions of the 20th century. Now, it's not flashy, it's not high-tech, but it is the secret engine running our entire global economy. We are talking about the humble shipping container.
No, seriously, just for a second, look around you. That phone in your hand, the clothes you're wearing, the chair you're sitting in, the coffee in your mug. Have you ever really thought about how all of that stuff got to you? How it traveled across the entire planet to end up right where you are? Well, the answer is usually pretty simple.
Yup, it's this box. A simple, unassuming corrugated steel crate. It might not look like much, but this one invention completely rewired global trade and, honestly, built the modern world as we know it. So, let's dig into how it actually works.
So, what is the big deal? What makes this box so incredibly special? Well, it's not just about being a big container, it's about what that container can do and where it can go without ever stopping.
Its secret superpower is a word you don't hear every day. Intermodal. Intermodal, as in between modes of transport. This means the exact same box can be lifted off a massive ship, dropped onto a freight train, and then locked onto the back of a truck, all without anyone ever opening it up and touching what's inside. That single idea, that one concept, is the key to absolutely everything.
And this image just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way, the before. And on the right, the after. Moving thousands of identical boxes all at once. The jump in efficiency is it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. It's literally the difference between carrying your groceries in from the car one can at a time versus just using a shopping cart. It's that big of a leap.
To really appreciate the genius here, we have to understand the world it replaced. So let's take a step back in time, to the chaotic age of what they called break bulk shipping.
Before the 1950s, loading a ship was basically organized chaos. You had teams of longshoremen, by hand, physically carrying every single sack, every barrel, every crate onto the ship, piece by agonizing piece. It could take a week, sometimes more, just to load one ship. It was painfully slow, incredibly expensive, and a ton of stuff got damaged or, let's be honest, stolen. For a lot of businesses, trying to ship goods across an ocean just wasn't worth the risk. But then, a few innovators had this amazing light bulb moment. They thought, wait a minute, what if we stop worrying about all the different stuff inside and instead we just standardize the box everything goes into? And that one simple shift in thinking set off a chain reaction that changed the world. Now, the idea didn't just appear out of thin air. The U.S. Army was already playing around with early steel containers back in the 40s and 50s. But the real visionary was a trucking entrepreneur named Malcolm McLean. He just knew there had to be a better way than watching his cargo get unloaded piece by piece at the docks. So in 1956, his ship, the Ideal X, made its first voyage with his containers on board, and the game was changed forever. The final piece of the puzzle was global standardization, getting everyone on the planet to agree on the exact same dimensions, which is what the ISO did around 1970.
Because here's the thing. A standard size is great, but it's totally useless if you can't lift, lock, and stack the boxes quickly and safely. The whole system relies on stacking them high, and that problem was solved by two of the most brilliantly simple pieces of engineering you'll ever see.
First, there's this thing, the corner casting. This is designed by an engineer named Keith Tantlinger, and it's on all 8 corners of every single standard container in the world. It's this super strong reinforced block of steel that acts as a universal connection point. It lets cranes grab it from the top and lets you lock it to another container below. It's the Lego brick of global trade.
And this is its partner in crime, the twist lock. It's so simple, it's beautiful. It's a rugged cone that just drops into that hole on the corner casting. You turn a lever, and bam, it's locked in place, secure. That elegant pairing is what allows thousands of tons of cargo to be stacked over 10 stories high on the deck of a ship, getting tossed around in rough seas, and not go anywhere. It's just incredible.
So, with a standardized, stackable, lockable box, the floodgates of global trade were just blown wide open. The cost to ship anything anywhere plummeted, and the sheer amount of stuff moving around the planet just exploded.
And when I say exploded, I mean it. To give you some sense of scale, by 2012, there were already over 20.5 million of these containers circulating around the globe. And that number has only gotten bigger.
In just a few decades, this system went from a weird new idea to the absolute backbone of how we move things. By 2010, as you can see here, a full 60% of all trade moving by sea was happening inside one of these boxes.
And what's kind of fascinating is that the whole world really runs on just two main sizes. Yeah, there are other types, but the standard 20-foot and 40-foot boxes make up about 80% of the entire global fleet. The 40-foot high-cube version has pretty much become the fan favorite just because it gives you the most space for your money.
So this system created a world of unbelievable efficiency and abundance. It's amazing. But what happens when that perfectly synchronized global machine hits a snag? Well, it turns out that all this hyperconnectivity has also created some pretty big vulnerabilities.
This quote from author Mark Levinson really gets to the heart of the problem. When there's a delay somewhere, a port gets backed up, ship is late, it's not just about the cargo being delayed. The containers themselves get stuck. They're taken out of circulation. That means the total capacity of the entire global system actually shrinks, and that creates ripple effects absolutely everywhere. So here's the basic trade-off. The pros are huge, right? Unbelievable efficiency, super low shipping costs, and we get access to goods from all over the world. But the cons are the flip side of that exact same coin. The whole system is so tightly interconnected that a single bottleneck can cause a global traffic jam. It's also created these weird imbalances, like shipping lines sending containers all the way back to Asia completely empty, just because it's faster and makes more money than waiting to fill them.
And look, we all saw this play out in real time not too long ago. The global supply chain crisis that really hit hard in 2021 was a massive wake-up call. It was the stark reminder of just how fragile the system is. A huge surge in demand, plus a few key logistical problems, showed us just how quickly the machine that brings us everything can grind to a halt.
Which leaves us with a really big question to chew on. There is zero doubt that this simple steel box made our modern globalized world possible. But in creating a system of such perfect interlocking efficiency, have we also made ourselves dangerously dependent on it?
When you see an image like this, you really get it. Our entire way of life relies on a perfectly choreographed dance of millions of these boxes, moving in sync 24 hours a day all across the planet. It's a modern marvel, for sure. But it's also a system with very, very little room for error. Something to think about the next time you unbox, well, just about anything.